Russ. Back out on the road again. What are we riding today? Hey, this is the Engwe Engine Pro 2.0. Yep. You might wonder why I always laugh after I say that. Not the Engine Pro, I'm just saying I always laugh after I tell you which bike I'm riding. The reason is because a lot of times I end up forgetting the name of the bikes. I told you guys that before, right? Yeah, I'll be riding something and I go, what is the name of that thing? Hey, I remembered, it's the Engine Pro 2.0. So where are we going today? Well, nowhere special. I just figured it was a nice day, it's time to get out. Time to get out, give it a ride, see how we do. Now, as you know, the Engine Pro 2.0 is a 20 mile per hour bike if you throttle it, and 28 miles per hour if you pedal it, right? It is a torque sensor bike, so the more effort you put into the pedal, the faster you go. But as we all know, my leg isn't the strongest thing in the world, so we only go as fast as I can pedal it, which is not that good, right? Now, the one thing I did do is I tried to raise my camera angle a little bit on here, but although I'm not really sure whether I've raised it enough or not. It's always hard to tell. It's because, you know, with these folding bikes, the handlebars are a little bit taller than some of the other bikes, so then if I keep the camera on my chest at the same height as the other bikes, then of course it might be too low, in which case then the handlebars might be in your way and you can't see what's going on in front. So of course we do want to see the bike as well, right? Kind of a combination of both is really the best way to do it. So anyways, I raised it up as much as I could before it gets too high up on the chest. And we just kind of hope that it's high enough for you. All right. So, what is the goal of today's video? Well, I wanted to see if I pedaled this thing at the speed of anywhere from, let's say, 15 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour, most likely hanging around the 15 to 18 mile per hour range. What kind of range can we get out of this bike? That's a good question, huh? I'll put the battery amp hours up here for you. As they've moved to a 52 volt system, but the battery itself is still essentially the same current rating, so as the old Engine Pro model, I think. But the thing is, a lot of people don't ride super fast like I do sometimes. So I said, you know, if we want to check the range of this, I think the only real way to do it would be to keep it between 15 and 18 miles an hour on average. And if we peak a little bit at 20, then we peak a little over 20. What's nice though is the throttle won't let me go past 20 because it's been limited to that setting for this. I'm finding a lot of bikes are starting to do that now. They're trying to stay a limit of 20 miles an hour on the throttle with a 28 mile per hour pedaled rating. So I had debated whether I should take this on the forest preserve, just go around in circles. That's what I used to do, you know, when I first started out. I was, you know, testing out bikes and looking at the battery range, and I figured if I just do that, then I don't have to really think much about whether cars are going to run me over or not. But it's kind of boring. Yeah, I mean, if I go to the area where I usually used to do it, it's about 3 miles around. Let's say this thing gives us even like 30 miles. That's 10 times around that thing. That's a little boring. So I said, well, let's just take it out on the street. I'll just keep the speed within reason, and see how it goes. Now, let me tell you some interesting things. Every time I've been out on an e-bike, okay, I wouldn't say every time, but many times I've been out on an e-bike, people have mistaken me for law enforcement. Here's why. I wear all black, right? Y'all know that. This jacket I'm wearing is black, gloves are black, pants are black, shirt is black. Then I wear a yellow safety vest, okay? Then I've got a helmet on, it's got a blinky light on it. I've got an audio recorder on a belt pack on the side of me. One guy told me it looked like a gun. So he had mistaken me for law enforcement as well. And so yeah, he's not the only one. A lot of people have said, oh, you know, are you a police officer? No. I'm just a guy on a bike. Now, I wonder if they would think the same thing if I was riding this particular bike. And here's why. Because it's a folding bike. You know, it's not a really big monstrous bike. You know. But when I'm on the big ones with the big black bikes with the, you know, they tend to mistake you sometimes for law enforcement. And not that law enforcement can't ride a bike like this, and they surely can if they wanted to. But yeah, you know, people think of the big bikes as kind of an intimidating thing, so maybe the guy's a cop or something. No, I'm not. Especially if I'm in the forest preserves. They'll think I'm patrolling the forest preserves. I once had, I don't know, some lady came up to me and wanted to report to me something she had seen in the forest preserve, and I says, I'm not a cop. She goes, oh. I told you guys before, although if you're new to the channel, you might not know. So, you know, sometimes I repeat the story just because there's a lot of new people all the time. Whenever I go to electronics stores, like for instance Best Buy, okay, or something like that, they'll always mistake me as the sales guy. I'm not even wearing the blue shirts that the Best Buy guys wear, you know. Or if I'm at Target, they'll ask me what aisle certain items are in. I don't work there. I'm not wearing a red shirt like the guys at Target with the tan pants. I'm usually wearing all black. Why would you ask me? One day I always feel like I should just tell them, oh yeah, it's in aisle 32. And they go there and there's nothing there. That's the craziness in me. Hey, you gotta have some fun, you know? So I had charged this bike up the night before to full 100% maximum. And I didn't reset the trip meter. However, I did look at it this time at least. Okay, we started out at 10.2 for the trip meter. So we'll use that as our starting point, and wherever the trip meter ends up at, that's what we get out of this battery. So I should take a guess first, right? Let me take my best guess. I'm gonna guess we're gonna get close to 30 miles an hour, 30 miles per battery on this one. Based on the fact that we're not going really fast, you know, I'm pedaling a certain amount and then I'm throttling a certain amount. But again, the throttling is not hard throttling. I'm trying to keep myself between 15, 16 miles per hour. I kind of figured the throttling at that rate and the pedaling at that rate might be similar, right? Another thing too is, as you know, I lost some weight over the winter and spring based on my health issues with the diabetes thing. Yeah, how's that going? I haven't given you a report in a while, so let's give you the update. As of this morning, I weighed myself, I'm down 32 pounds at this point, 32 pounds. I always kind of hesitated in telling you this because I know that goes up and down a pound or two all the time. But for the last couple of days, it's been 32 pounds. So we lost a couple more pounds. You know, it was 30 pounds for a while, and we lost a couple more pounds. And the reason I think is because I've been kind of watching what I've been eating as far as how much I've been eating, not necessarily what I have been eating, because I've been eating some different things as an experiment to see how my blood sugars are going. And yeah, some things with carbs in there. I had some things like roast beef with some mayo inside a tortilla. Done that several times. It doesn't really spike the blood sugar that much. I usually hover, like I said, let's say between 100 and 105, something like that, for my blood sugar levels when I take the blood reading. And it'll go up a little bit, then it'll come right back down again. So I've done it for quite a few times now, just to see if I did it, you know, multiple days in a row, would that really hurt me? And the answer is no. It doesn't seem to hurt it that much. I mean, anything you eat will go up a little bit and then it'll come back down. So I think I'm pretty much in the ranges I need to be in order to stay safe and healthy. And then the other times, you know, I'm eating salads and stuff. But this last couple of weeks, I have not really eaten that much salad. Yeah, I've eaten other things, you know, chicken, of course, and other odds and ends. I've even gone to Costco several times, had my hot dog, even had a pizza. Found that the pizza doesn't really raise it all that much either. It does more than that tortilla did, but I can do it. So in a pinch, in an emergency, I can have something other than just salad all the time. So that's your health update from me. I am going tomorrow on a lunch date with my brother and two of my old high school friends. But I'll order a salad when we go. We'll probably go to Cheesecake Factory. I'll probably order a Cobb salad or something like that, which I had before. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff in those things. It's not just your standard salad with nothing there. I mean, you got the dressing and all the other stuff that they have in there, the avocados and whatever else they put in there. Chicken, whatever it is. But in general, I have been trying to stay healthier by not eating a lot of junk food. I don't eat a lot of junk food, like none, really. When I need something for a little snack, I'll have a few pieces of walnuts, which I get from Costco. Yeah. So maybe like a handful of walnuts that have already been deshelled. About a handful, maybe sometimes 2 handfuls. And although nuts in general will give you quite a bit more calories, but it's not so bad. You know, I don't eat a lot of it, so it's fine. So that's really all I've been doing. I haven't gone crazy with the stuff that I've been eating or anything like that. All right. So, anyways, back to the bike. Back to the bike. Let's cross through here first. All right. Yeah, this bike is very familiar feeling to me, as I mentioned before, because, you know, I had the EP2 Pro, which I still like, by the way. We sold that to one of our subscribers, and so I always kind of missed it after that went away. It's a long story on that one. He asked if he could trade a guitar to me for that bike. You guys remember that? I don't know if he still has it or not, or whether he's moved it on to someone else or not. But so I said, okay, that's fine. So we traded a guitar for that bike. I think he got the better deal out of the two, but that's okay. And so I always missed it after that was gone, because it was my first folding bike. It was the second review bike I ever got. And when it went away, I said, yeah, I kind of missed that thing, you know. We had other folding bikes, you know, after that, of course. But I always said, yeah, that thing actually did pretty good, you know. So So here we are with this Engine Pro 2, which is essentially kind of like the same bike, but it's a little more powerful now, obviously, and it's got a torque sensor and it's got suspension. Yeah, I can hop up and down on this thing right now. I just did that, and I got full suspension on the back and the front. So yeah, kind of got upgraded for me. If I had this one and I still had EP2 Pro, I probably would have sold the EP2 Pro afterwards because it's kind of similar in that sense. But if I'm gonna keep one of the two, I would definitely keep this one. Full suspension bike, why would I not, right? Now, if you hear little scraping sounds here and now and then, what it is really it's the fenders. Fenders are typically metal, and then if it rubs against something, if you hit the wrong angle or something, and it kind of makes it rub. Let me see if I can bounce up and down a little bit, kind of fix it. There you go. It may be rubbing up against something, and then you hear a little scratch. It's no big deal. Those are minor little things. Every bike has a little this and that makes a little sound. This one happens to be coming from the front right now, but it's usually because of the metal fenders. Now, I know a lot of the companies like to put metal fenders on it because they feel it's an upgrade, but my personal feeling, I'm perfectly fine with the plastic fenders because you don't seem to hear that kind of thing as much. And let's turn here. You don't tend to hear that often, and I think it does just as good of a job. So, but hey, it is whatever it is. If they put metal fenders on there, they put plastic fenders on there. At least they put the fenders on there. And that's all I care about. So, going through some of these houses on the side here, somebody mentioned recently. Hey, I noticed in the neighborhoods that you go by, there's not a whole lot of real estate signs up. Just saw one. But yeah, he's right. I didn't really notice that until he mentioned it, and I go, yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look to see are people selling their houses around here or not. I would tend to think this would be around the time to do it if you're gonna do it. It's the time that people would say, okay, yeah, the winter's gone, let's go ahead and move at this point. So, but the thing is, I think a lot of people wait for the school year to finish, right? If they have kids, they want the school year to finish out so they don't have to move their kids in the middle of a school year, and then they might move. But the thing is, you want to start marketing your house, I guess, before that happens, so that you don't lose opportunity. But yeah, he's right. There's not a whole lot of signs of people selling their homes around this area. We are hovering. I think this is still Arlington Heights here. Sometimes I don't know exactly where I am. I just kind of know, I'm heading in that area. I don't know where the cutoff points are sometimes. But I think this is Arlington Heights. Yeah, let's pedal for a little bit. Get some pedaling in there. Let's lower this the gears a little. Should we? Let's just go this way. Still sniffling. I had debated whether I should just take my jacket off because I think it's going to get up to about 70 degrees today, 70, 71. But yeah, right now it's still 65. And then when that wind blows up against you, yeah, you feel it. So I said, no, better not. I'm glad I brought the jacket because otherwise I would be freezing right now. Thing is, I look at the trees and I don't see much movement of air, so it's got to be just the air that's blowing against me because I'm moving forward. But still, it's enough to make it kind of chilly. Later on, when things warm up, you'll still see me wearing a long sleeve. I have several long sleeve shirts that are UV rated, kind of help protect you against the sun. And my wife always says, you don't put on the sunscreen over. You really should. Yeah, I really should, because I'm outside quite a bit now. because of the e-bikes, and you don't want to have skin cancer or anything like that going on. So yeah, I really should do that. But I've always felt that, you know, the sunscreen's kind of greasy. Don't really want to put all that stuff on. I think if I wear the long sleeve shirts, I always have the gloves on, of course. And but my fingers always get darker because they're half gloves, right? They're not full gloves. And so the fingers always seem darker, and the rest of my hand always seems lighter. It's really kind of funny looking. And as you know, I play guitar and keyboards at our church. Sometimes sometimes the camera will pan to me, and then they'll see me playing, you know, keyboards and stuff. I wonder what people say when they say, how come this guy's fingers are dark and his rest of his hand isn't? As for people who don't know what I do, you know. I mean, people on the worship team, they know because they know what I do, but there's so many people at church, sometimes you don't know everyone, and you know, they also put those things up on YouTube for people to see, and so yeah, you know, when they pan over to you and your fingers are dark and the rest of you is not, you know, for the hand, it's kind of weird. All right, so anyway, keeping this thing at around the 15, 16 mile an hour level, pedaling every now and then, throttling most of the time. Yeah, we'll see what we get out of this. I've done about 5 point something miles already. Now, I won't keep you the entire time, obviously. We'll talk for a bit, and then I'll probably cut it away and then come back and give you a report as to what the final result is. Now, if you want to use it to compare against previous bikes I've had, it's probably not a fair comparison. We've found that, you know, since the weight loss has occurred, that seems to affect, you know, our hill climb tests and all sorts of things. So I fully expect we'll get a little bit more mileage out of the bike than had I stayed, you know, 32 pounds heavier. Yeah, you want more range? Go on a diet. Go on a diet. That'll get you more range, that's for sure. All right, we have to stop here. Here's one thing I always do, I don't know if you guys do it, is I always come up next to a curb so I can put my foot down on the curb. The other foot is on the pedal, because as you know, I have my saddle up pretty high up so that I can get decent extension when I'm doing a pedaling. Now, many of you guys don't do that. I know a lot of you guys keep the saddle a lot lower so that when you straddle the bike, you can stay seated. The only problem with that is you don't get good full leg extension. And if you want the best pedaling, you have to have a certain amount of extension. Almost straight-legged, but slightly bent, okay? That is actually the ideal riding position for pedaling. Now, is that safer for you? Not necessarily. I mean, if you stop, you know, you'll have to get off of the saddle, otherwise you'll tip over. But you get used to that, right? But I prefer a better pedaling position, so that's what I do. All right, we're all here just kind of waiting for this light to turn. Oh. One guy accelerated so hard that I thought he was going to hit the other car. All right, car behind me wants to make a right turn, but he's not doing it because he knows I'm in front of him, which is the proper thing for him to do, is to wait, right? All right, are we actually going to get this light or not? I don't, okay, there we go. I started beginning to wonder if it's actually going to give us a light. I've had people turn in front of me. You see it on video too. Even though they're behind me, they'll go around me and turn right in front of me. But the person that was behind me did it the proper way. He really has to wait his turn. It's just like any other vehicle. I mean, you wouldn't go in front of a car, would you? just because we're a bike doesn't mean he really should do that, and he didn't. He waited. I don't know, they don't like it, but hey, they shouldn't like it if a car was there either, right? So anyways, all right, well, we still have quite a bit of bars left on the battery meter here. We got full bars out of all the possible bars. We haven't really gone down on that, but again, we don't know how accurate this meter is because we've never tested it. We don't know. I've always said that you should always test your bikes before taking it on any long ride. Now, I know for a fact I could probably get at least 20. I mean, even in worst case, I should get at least 20 miles out of this. But knowing how the other bikes in the past have done when I've kept the ranges down, you know, around 15, 16 miles per hour, a lot of them do 25 or more. And that's based on my my weight when I was 32 pounds heavier. So I'm guessing we should be able to do close to 30 at least on this. We'll see. We'll see. Now, let's talk about something else too. Bike route, let's take a right. It's making me lose my train of thought again. See, what happens is when something like that happens, I tend to forget what I was trying to say. Okay, range. Okay. So yeah, if you weigh less, you should get more range. Okay. If you pedal more, you should get more range. If you keep your pedal assist down, you should get more range. If your terrain is straighter, you should get more range. You know, if you're not climbing hills all the time, you should get more range, right? But another thing too is some bikes, you know, they use up more wattage. You know, if the peak of the bike goes higher than the peak wattage of some other bikes, you're using more and you're using more power is what I'm saying. And if you use more power, you will lose your range, right? All right, let's just turn here. I'm just gonna turn here. Really don't know where I'm at anyway. So sometimes when people say that, you know, they want a more powerful bike, really? Do you really want a more powerful bike? Yeah, one that'll peak out at 2,000 watts, you know. Really? Do you really want that? I keep thinking, all right, if your intention is, hey, I want to hit 40 miles an hour and then you know, and do 40 miles out of it. Yeah, that's not going to happen. You're going to eat up all your battery if you do stuff like that. What you really want to do is you want to conserve some power, right? If you want to go distance, if you're not concerned with distance, yeah, go ahead and go crazy, and get as much power as you want out of the thing, because you're going to eat the battery up like crazy. You know, but when you're conservative, right, you get the range. All right, I'm usually not that conservative. I mean, I am to a point, but not that conservative. But, you know, if I'm doing stuff like this, I just want to know, you know, if I take a casual bike ride, just like the average person might do, what kind of range do I get? What kind of range do you get, you know, at that point? That's really what you want to know. You know, if a guy takes a bike out, and then he takes like this Engine Pro 2 out, and he says, yeah, I'm just gonna go for a nice leisurely bike ride. You kind of want to know how far you can go. So do it before you take it on a long trip and not know. Then you get stuck somewhere, you know, you don't want to do that. Not like you can't pedal this all the way back yourself, but man, that's a lot harder than if you had a motor helping you. Right? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to pedal this thing without the help of the motor. You could pedal this one a little bit easier than you can pedal some other real heavy bikes, but still, the point is why, you know? If you know your distance and you try not to exceed that, it's fine. Now the distance too, keep in mind, you got distance going someplace and the distance going back. So you can't just go that whole, let's say this thing does 30 miles. You don't want to go out 30 miles. You got 30 miles there and 30 miles back then, right? You can be riding by yourself for 30 miles without the motor. Don't want to do that. Just saw a dead skunk to the side of the road. Didn't smell them or anything, but that was a skunk. Believe me, I recognize the skunks. We get a lot of skunks in this general area. So yeah, pre-test your bikes, pre-test the range. And what range you get this year may not necessarily be the range you get next year, because as we know, cars, bikes will, I'm looking at the car, bikes will, the bike batteries will decrease in range over time because of the usage of a battery. And somebody asked me, what is the expected length of usage can you get out of a battery? Yeah, I think that varies. I'm gonna let this guy go first. See, people worry about, should I go or should I not go? Let them go. They always worry, if I go, I might hit the guy. Well, it's okay. So anyways, your distance, how much can you expect to get out of a battery? Or not distance, your length of time. I read recently on a website that they said if a person were to ride his bike every single day from full power, full battery power down to where it's nearly exhausted but not totally exhausted, because totally exhausting your battery is bad for your battery. Okay, don't do that. But down to a certain level, okay, pretty much down, and then recharged it up and did that every single day, you can expect about 2.5 years out of that battery. So I'm thinking 365 days multiplied by 2.5. He says about 2.5 years. That's what they estimate. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. That's what I read. And they said the casual user, I don't even know what they consider a casual user. The casual user should basically expect 6 to 7 years. Okay. Is it truly that? I don't know. But that's what I read. I don't know. I never had the bikes long enough to be to be able to say what the amount of usage time would be. A lot of my bikes are moved on to somebody else, within a year or so, or give or take. So I really don't know, and I don't ride those bikes the entire time. I remember recently one of the bikes that I sold to somebody only had like 29 miles on it. So 26 miles, was it? Can't recall. I think it was like 26 miles. Let's turn here. Now, some of the other bikes have more. Obviously, there's some bikes that I take out a lot more than that, because they have several hundred miles on the bike. But that's really nothing. That's really nothing. It could be more, right? So, one bike I had over, what was it? Was it close to 3,000 miles that I sold it? Yeah, my original Rad Rover. I don't know. Yeah, it might be close to around 3,000 something miles. It was still going strong. I did have to change out the tires on it, so he got newer tires, of course, on it. But no, the bike itself was going strong. Still is, from what I'm told, because he did say that he does enjoy riding his bike all the time. And so anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we may be down 1 bar. I can't really tell on this meter. I can't remember. I think it had 5 bars on it. Now I see 4. It says 18.5. Where we started out was 10.2. So we've gone 8.3 miles already, something like that. Yeah, really, just riding around the streets is just as good to me. I mean, if I get out early enough in the day, and if it's residential streets, here's somebody selling their house right here. It says, for the gentleman who asked about houses thing, there's somebody selling a house right there. So there are some available, you know. No, if you get out early enough in the day and you stay in the residential areas, you know, traffic's not so bad. You know, most people are out at work. They might be in office buildings or wherever they work at while you're out riding. So it's not that bad, really. I know a lot of people are always hesitant in going on the streets. Yeah, big streets. I'm not too thrilled either. Like the street coming up ahead where there's a stoplight, it's like 45 miles an hour. I'm not going to go on that road. Well, okay, sometimes you have to if you're going to go someplace. Sometimes you have to. But in general, I try to find roads that are more residential. You know, the times when I've gone to like the Botanic Garden in past years, I go out of my way to take side streets, and then occasionally you have to take 1 or 2 roads that are a major road to get where you need to get to. But for the vast majority of the ride, it's actually kind of like side streets. So, all right, I don't know whether we're gonna get the light here or we won't. Yeah, we did. Good. I always wonder because if there's no cars that pull up next to me, I don't think my bike has enough to set off the sensor, the road sensor, because it's basically magnetic. It's looking for metal. These things are aluminum. Do they set off anything? I don't know. I don't think so. Somebody's got a trike up ahead. Now let's pull up. Let's go. Let's see what he's got. So this person off on our right-hand side is riding a trike on the sidewalk path. I was going to turn there, but that's okay. I think it's a non-electric trike. It's going pretty slow. Yeah, I think that's a non-electric trike. Well, I was going to turn at that area, and I didn't do it. So I may have to go off somewhere else and turn. Yeah, that I should turn around. Well, looking for new ways to get around anyways. Let's keep going. Let's see where it goes. All right, let's try here. I think we should be okay. So yeah, anyway, it's really basically all I have for today. I'll put a graphic up as to how far I got, or I might record the tail end of the ride. One of the two. I'm still debating. I don't want to keep you for the entire ride. It could take a while. So, I mean, all you really want to know is what's the end result, Russ? What did you end up getting? That's really all that matters, right? So, yeah, we'll pick it up a little bit later, or I will just put a graphic up here and let you know. All right, I think it's time to give you guys an update. I just got a single bar on the meter here. Let me go down a little bit here. So if you take a look at here, we're at 34.9. We just hit 1 bar. And we started out, just turned 35. So we started out at 10.2. So that'll turn into 2 in a second here. So that gives us, what, 23 miles so far. So I'm down to 1 bar. I think I need to start heading back. because I don't want to be riding this without any battery power. But I'll put a graphic up as to what our final range was. But so far, yeah, 10.2. It's going to be 35.2 in a minute. So right now we're at, what is that? 23 miles. So my guess is I'll be pedaling back a little bit. But yeah, a little bit less than I thought. 23 miles. I'll put a graphic up as to what the end miles actually was when the battery finally died out on me. So the way I was riding it for this entire time is I was putting it at 15 to 16 miles per hour on throttle. I've throttled probably about 80% of the time, 20% pedaling it. And I was on pedal assist level 3 out of 5 when I was pedaling. So I'm going to guesstimate, probably got another couple miles before this thing finally dies out on me. So I wanted to make sure that I rode it maybe at the speed that many people might be riding this bike at, as a casual ride. And I figured 15 to 16 miles an hour on average would probably be about right, maybe. I mean, if you went on many of the trails, they usually have a speed limit of about 15 miles an hour. So I'm going to guesstimate we're going to probably get 25 miles out of this thing. I was hoping for 30, but I don't think so. So even with the weight loss and the like, I don't think I can get 30 out of this. But I'll report, I'll put it up, I'll let you guys know. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching all the way through this video. Hopefully just give you some insight as to what you can expect out of the Engine Pro 2.0. Again, my weight is, what's my current weight? 32 pounds down, so that would put me at 236, 5'10", 65 years old, 236 pounds. That's what you can kind of expect. All right, anyways, I'll talk to you guys next time. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And again, if you're interested in one of these bikes, use the affiliate link that's inside the description of the video. Get yourself one of these bikes. Talk to you guys next time.